Yeah, oh, Prof here. And what do we got for you today? I can tell you it's definitely this brand new inbox, not an inbox, brand new OEM Apple Firewire charger with a matching 30-pin cable. See, Apple logo. No, it's not that. Um, it's these right here. The AirPods Pro. I should say I did buy another set. So I have a complete set of Firewire and USB original. These are from 4th gen because they're from the HP iPods, and a brand new 30 pin um, Apple cable because you can still buy those new. The ones without the clippy guys like this on there. It's just the short ones. I plan to just use the other one, as I've said previously, like this one right here for charging until it breaks, and then I've got a second set because I don't know if by the time that breaks on me, I'll be able to buy another brand new set of those. Um, oh, and the other thing is, I remembered I re-looked up what it is. Normally, you'll see me put stuff like these guys. Let's zoom in 2x, like these guys on cables to protect them, like basically add more strain relief. However, they only fit over the Type C or a Lightning connector, not something like a USB A or a FireWire end, especially not a 30-pin end. So I was trying to remember like what people did before like this was available, like because people still had 30-pin cable. Sugru, they advertise it as like super glue putty. I don't know. It's basically like a moldable clay that hardens into like a silicon rubber. And I remember people making strain relief out of those. They advertise it as repairing cables. No, 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 guys. If your thing is frayed and things are not working correctly, or things are frayed and it looks like they won't work correctly, throw the cable out, get a new one. I'm going to put the Sugru on before it becomes an issue. That's what you need to do. We even do this at work. You can even just use electrical tape. That is kind of a ghetto method. But if you want something that's going to last quite a ways, you protect the cable before it's broken. You can't unbreak it. And with even just electrical tape, all we would do is I would wrap here, wrap up to the connector, wrap back down. We would have lightning cables last us, even like stock Apple cables, lightning cables last us a year or more. Usually it would actually be cables with bad lightning connectors that would short out the power pin that would wreck the cable, and not the actual like flexing. Even though we would literally be every 20 minutes have an appointment, sometimes two appointments at a time. Like we're each area had two. Each area had their own set of A to Lightning, C to Lightning, C to C. Most often than not, though, you're using the A to Lightning because that's what gets you into, especially with older phones, guys. It was only quite late in the life of the iPhone that the USB C to quick charge was a thing. So while we're on that note, Apple, you know me. What do I run? Pixel 7 Pro, which is what's being recording this right now. Really, really should have used this Rode Lav mic that's right here for this video, but I've already started it and it's too late now. However, there are a few products that I believe Apple has done an amazing job with. This right here, and the not the 30-pin cable necessarily, but the iPod is another. iPod Shuffle, amazing. iPod Classic, unbeatable. Literally bought a new one. The pencil for the iPad, and like how ubiquitous an iPad is, amazing. When people think of tablet, it's iPad, which is good and bad. But like the fact that it's used, if you're running an, I see this as amazing for iPads, like in industry. Like think about if you're in music, you don't have a paper score anymore. You just use an iPad Pro. Like that's crazy. The pencil, amazing. First gen pencil, kind of shit. It's like an all right stylus. But the Gen 2 puts like something like a Surface pen to just wrecks it completely. This is another one of those products. What made fully wireless earbuds mainstream? It was the AirPods. not the Pros necessarily, standard AirPods. I was a little bit late to that party because I waited for the AirPods 2 because I needed the wireless charging. Because no way in hell am I. I think I own one lightning cable, like one. And, oh no, I'm actually using them right now over there. I have one USB-A to lightning and one USB-C to lightning. I do have a couple of C to lightning adapters. However, good ones of those are hard to find because all the MiFi certified ones have been like banned because apparently Apple really doesn't want those to exist. You'd think they would. They make a micro B to lightning adapter. Why not USB-C? Right? So these are AirPods Pro 2nd generation, but as it says on the back here, USB-C, 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 MagSafe USB-C, 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 USB-C. Hell yeah, finally. Why am I so pumped about these? Because I bet those. You might have even seen a video from me on these when they came out, or included in another video after I got them. Yeah, up here I didn't get the skin on there the best. But realistically, guys, if you run AirPods, put a skin on them. Go to Dbrand or some other company and put a skin on it. You can run those cases, but I think that's the dumbest shit ever, personally. Hey, if you want to do it, go for it. The reason why is why this Apple makes the smallest reasonable product they can. Why would you make this any bigger? Like, but why you're like, prof? Why are you saying get a skin, get a skin, get a skin, get a skin? The white, the shiny white material that was actually at least on my AirPods Gen 2 with wireless charging, and my AirPods Pro, which also have wireless charging, so that's how I charge them. Is you just throw them on the wireless charging pad. Then I never have to see that port. Only time I see that port is when I need a firmware update, and for the longest time I didn't even have an Apple device personally, so I would either have to borrow my mom's iPad, which I don't even remember if that worked. I ended up just doing it mostly at work, and then when I switched jobs, I was issued an iPhone 11, I think. It was a big boy. So I could use that. Now, when I So now my backup phone is this iPhone SE Gen 3 with a bumper case. I got the red one. You have to buy this direct from Apple. If you want the full international unlocked iPhones, you have to buy them direct from Apple. Even Best Buy, who sells an unlocked version, they do not sell a unlocked version. It's actually only unlocked for the US market, and then once you activate it on a carrier, it will lock it to whatever carrier. So in this case, I need this to take international SIMs, specifically Japanese one. So I had to buy it direct from Apple. That is a bummer. But the only thing that has come out in recent times, and actually use these more than these, but nowadays at least, are these Link Buds. Now, when I can tell you, when I was, I do want the updated pair that has the USB dongle. That'd be amazing for work. I will say, though, when I was doing an on-site tech, I had these in my ears, and this is why these are getting replaced. I had these in my ears literally my entire shift. The only time they came out is for lunch, and that's when I would charge them in the charging case, generally speaking. And that is why these things look like they've been through hell and back. Even the you might be able to see even the skin has like smooth spots on it from where it sits in my pocket. Realistically, AirPods back in the day, when they basically made full wireless, as y'all know, they made full wireless they like standardized it, ubiquitized it. That's what I'm looking for. Ubiquitized full wireless earbuds. Um, and the Pros they were amazing because they were slightly open. I can't generally deal with IEMs that have no porting or anything like that on it that just jam in your ears like earplugs. That clogs up my sinuses completely because I normally have a clogged nose, or at least half a clogged nose, even after I had that somewhat fixed. Um, and that's just not okay for me to have my ears plugged, essentially. That's where the original AirPods were great. However, these take it up a next level. AirPods Pro, if you like AirPods, try AirPods Pro. The way they nestle in your ears, it looks like these, by the way, have comply tips on them. I prefer comply tips. These are dead. You can see they don't memory at all. They just immediately pop up. I need to replace them, but I knew these were coming, so or eventually that those are coming out. So I didn't bother. Um, what's amazing about these is despite them having either the silicone tip like you see pictured here or the foam tip, it's really only your ear only goes here. These don't go in your ear. Like you don't jam them in there. Like old school IEMs, they kind of just seal around the ear. They fit very similar to original. Like you can even see the Gen 3 AirPods have even more similar shape to the Pro because it is a better shape. I mean, otherwise, if you guys prefer the older earpod style, like the wired earpod style, um, get a Gen 2. They're still fine. I use those. I bought them. When I was working, I had to go work at another Best Buy. And for working there and travel and stuff, because I wasn't necessarily always the one driving. Bought them once I was there, once they came out with the wireless charging. Used them until the Pros came out. I actually didn't even know the Pros came out. My mom is the one that told me. She's like, "Oh, did you hear about those EarPods Pros? Because I know you like your AirPods a lot." And she called them EarPods. Um, and I had no idea. Like she actually knew about these launching before I did. And I'm like, why? Because she wanted my standard AirPods, and she still uses them to this day. That's not a bad thing. I had a place for them to go. They should never go to waste. Why do I want these though? Well, I went to LTX and I knew these were already in a sorry shape. I didn't really care too much though, because I usually around the house and around current work, which is more in an office situation, or if I'm going out and about, I prefer these because they have the open hole in them, and you can. Oh God, they're full of earwax. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I only learned this within recent years. Two kinds of earwax: dry earwax, wet earwax. I have wet earwax, and I have a lot of it. To the people that say you should never clean your ears or it makes it worse by cleaning, um, let's just put it that way. That's not an option. Huge downside for the Link Buds. They managed to make them stupid lightweight. They're still fatter than even the AirPods Pro, despite being smaller this way. And if you guys watch Dank Pods at all, who I've recently really gotten into, if you haven't seen by my iPod purchases, and yes, I bought one. And I did just buy it from Elite Obsolete. He's one that sells like a bunch of parts for upgrading and repairing your iPods. Reason being is, especially with work and stuff, I just wanted to enjoy it. I have so many hobbies around here, so many keyboards I need to build, so many things. I could easily do these mods. But then when would it happen? When would I actually have this in my hand? Whereas right now, I have this in my hand. Now, this is a 5.5 gen. The other gen that I would like to have is a 7th gen. Maybe with some more mods, like you can put a Taptic engine in the iPod Classic. So I might make the 7th gen myself because I already have a 5.5. Yeah. Also, the 7th gen these can do up to about a terabyte without issues. 512 for sure. So that's what I picked up. My entire music collection should fit on a 512, unless it somehow grows very very substantially in a short period of time. But yeah, so gotten back into these, And these weren't an issue. But then I went to LTX, right? I go into LTX. Oh, what he was saying is uh, Dank Pods goes over these as well. And how he has a big thing where the fact that Apple managed to get these as slim as they have. The slimness is like a case size is important, right? But the slimness, this is a bulge in your pocket still, and I can tell you it is as somebody who rocks this daily. This is not a bulge in your pocket. Technically, both of these fit into like that watch slash change pocket on your pants. Often, instead of something like this, I might put something like this, like a Tuck XL or a Tuck. This is a Tuck HD technically in there. And so I might put that in there instead of one of these. But both of these will fit. However, this is a bulge. This is going to stick out far enough vertically that it's going to make it hard to get into your pocket to get. Like in that pocket, I keep my wallet. On the side, I keep the pen. This isn't going to obstruct the pen, but you need to go and get that wallet or something else that's in there. This is tall enough, whereas this isn't. This sits much flatter, like next to my wallet, which is a secret wallet. This is actually a little bit thicker. Back when I had a back case, because I needed to carry a bunch of extra, like, we had a video about that sort of, where I got my new secret wallet and I went over it. But basically, I had to carry a lot more cards in the past due to my health. So I had a thicker version of the secret wallet. This was thinner, right? This is still thicker than the thicker secret wallet. Despite it being smaller, it is a chonky boy. Now, that's not why I took it with me to LTX or why that became an issue. The reason why I brought this is because on planes, trains, and automobiles, you want that ANC. However, when I'm walking about various cities, like I was in Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland, you want to be able to hear your surroundings. So the ambient mode, very important. Also, remember I said I have issues with plugging my ears. These technically seal. However, that ambient mode solves that. Even before my trip, I was really considering. I had to hold myself back, like really hold myself back. I did not hold myself back there. Probably should, but it's amazing. It's like, oh, apparently it turned off. There we go. Like, and yes, the other reason why I went to 5.5 gen, for those wondering, is because of that right there. That is much closer, despite being video and color, is much closer to the older, like 4th gen and prior. They just kind of added video and color to it, whereas on the 6th and newer generations, like it's got this like canted album art. When you're at this menu, it's got album art. Ugh, way too modern. I actually, back in the day, even when I got my, I think I have a revised, like a 6.5 gen, I think I had. At one point, when I saw that, I was like, oh, what did they do to this? This is worse, because they were trying to update the looks to look more like the iPhone that was now out. Ugh. But these are not completely shot, but I would say their battery life's at about half, or nearly half of what it used to be. I can definitely do 2 hours on a charge with the earbuds out of the case. At one point, I think I pushed 3 hours, but I definitely, on my trip, actually took a 3-hour plane ride and a 3-hour train ride. They had to get popped out part of the way through. And when I did that, obviously you can just chuck them back in the case and get a bunch more time with it. I just went to wired ones. I had my Moondrop Chew, not the Chew 2. I know everybody's going goo goo gaga over the Chew 2. I prefer, for my uses, the Chew 1. It just fits my needs better. I'm not looking for an audiophile, a cheap audiophile. I'm looking for like better earbuds. You know, to each their own, which is why I'm glad the Chew 1 still exists. I'll probably buy a third pair because I have one in my work bag. I have one in my camera bag, and I want to have one in my tech bag I keep in the car. So the battery life on these is pretty piss poor, because that is like the biggest downside of these fully wireless earbuds. And there's nothing you can really do about it. Some people have found, I know on the original AirPods, that you can change the batteries, and it's a fairly intensive process, and you could send them in for that to be done. Might look into that for these. Otherwise, I bought the direct replacement, so I also may not. And these, it's not like these are unusable by any means. They're just not as usable as they once were. Because remember, like I said, my previous job, I worked an entire year basically using these 8 hours a day, or at least 6 of those 8 hours a day. Yeah, it's so they're not the best off anymore. Oh and yes, for me the comply tips are way nicer. I switched those a long time ago. About every 3-4 months, you got to change them out. You can buy like a 3-pack of them. I always put dates on so I know when to go and swap them. But so I was really resisting the urge to replace my original AirPods Pro before going on my trip to LTX and various, like, it was about a 2-week trip afterwards. But I managed to make do with these because the case has enough juice in it yet. You know what I mean? It's it's the earbuds themselves that are really on the low end. So I would just basically, any chance I had where I knew I'd not be playing anything through them, whereas normally I'd just leave them in and leave them in passive mode. That's why I love these. I can walk around, talk to people, and I don't even notice they're there. I've actually put over my headphones on when these were still in my ears. Um, they're just, oh, beautiful. For the right person, these are perfect. And I know a lot of people because of like the industry I'm in, sort of, that these are perfect for them. I know at least 3 people who've bought them because of me. I know another 3 that are going to. Like, they have AirPods, maybe not even pros right now, but AirPods are like, as soon as my like, I have issues with them or whatever, or I have to replace them or whatever, they're gonna go to these. Audio quality, these are not. You can eat with these on and without any issues though, which I can't even do with these in ambient mode because they're still sealing. The other thing is, because these are so light and the case is so light, battery life on these compared to these. So I was kind of already used to the lesser battery life here that I had here. I made it do, and why did I make do? Because we finally get. I was bearing the lead. We finally get to the AirPods Pro 2 or second generation with MagSafe charging case USB-C. That is, if you bought AirPods Pro 2, I guess if you use them regularly or whatever, or you see no reason to go off of Lightning, like, say if you're gonna be, you're gonna be stuck on a phone that has Lightning. I mean, I am technically. There's a Lightning port. Ugh. Ugh. But this has wireless charging. That is why I waited for this generation, actually, because the previous versions of the iPhone SE did not have wireless charging. This does, so I never have to basically use the Lightning port. The one time I do have to use it, and it is what I'm doing with these right now, and I actually have to update my mom's AirPods as well, is to do the firmware update on this. There's no update button. Apple graciously gave you the ability, when they're paired, to see what firmware version both the case and the AirPods are on now. But there is no way to force update them. How you do it is you plug these in wired, you plug this in wired, and you kind of let them sit there. And then within 10-15 minutes, they should update. Yeah. We've had that not happen when I was doing repairs. The other thing that we found, and we have never, I don't know if we ever confirmed with the guide from Apple for this or not, what turns the case on, which could need an update, is it being open. So when you leave it to update, right? Try it closed for 10-15 minutes, double, open it back up, pop them in, see if they're updated. If they're not, try it with sitting case open for 10-15 minutes. sometimes that is what's required. Another thing downside with AirPods is there is no way to force pair earbuds. So, like, say if you replace this earbud, there is no way to like force pair that to the case. You kind of chuck it in there, do this sort of thing, pair it to the iPhone, and it'll kind of just like work. But I can tell you, as somebody who's repaired these, that doesn't always work. So there's things that I would desire. Apple's not perfect. I don't like Apple. Right? There's some things I like about Apple. I like their designs. Sometimes they do kick the industry forward. But just because they do it once doesn't mean you need to listen to them every goddamn time. And they make some good products. This being one of them. That doesn't mean all their products are good. Most of them are actually trash. Oh, been hearing about the new educational, possibly low-end MacBook going back to a plastic one? I want it. Yes. Would love that as a backup computer, because just having a secondary computer, like Screws would like it as well. He runs Windows main, but for sitting on the couch, browsing the web, or having another device for troubleshooting stuff, it's very beneficial to have a different operating system from time to time. Especially because so much of the world, in the US at least, like when it comes to phones, 50% of the market is Apple. The other 50% is Android. Most of which are Samsung, actually. When they should be pickles. Pickles. So we're going to unwrap this guy. I mean, this does have a skin on it. So they could be slightly different sized, but if you guys have looked that up, to me this looks slightly more svelte on the Gen 2 versus the Gen 1, because there's the split line, and just in general it just looks slightly more svelte. It's oh, by the way, here's the other reason why you need a frickin' skin. This thing's like a frickin' like bar of soap. Look at that. Look at that. That's another reason why you need a skin. Let me know down below what color I should go with. I can't go with yellow from D brand because my original AirPods are yellow. Mom has those. We don't want to confuse those. Can't go orange. Got orange right here. So yeah, this definitely feels skinnier. And yes, I know this has a skin on it, but the skins are not that thick. The lines on this seem much more rounded too to me. But there we go. Let's flip that open. I know one thing they made was with the AirPods 2, they made extra small tips. I definitely do not have that issue of needing extra small tips. I think they did update. There you go. They're showing up. Connect. Also, Apple's what pioneered that quick pair. If you're running what they now call Swift Pair on Windows, that's even a thing in Windows now. Which is crazy that, like, literally you put a Bluetooth device in pairing mode that's of a new enough Bluetooth mode next to a Windows computer with Bluetooth enabled, and it's like, hey, I see that. Is that yours? Do you want to pair with it? Oh, Apple had to be the one to do that, and then everybody else copied it, and that is something they should have copied. You know what I mean? Now it's trying to tell me how to use AirPods Pro 2. They are AirPods Pro with a volume slidey thing. So that's the other really nice thing that the AirPods 3 got, that the adaptive mode, yada yada, not now. Personalized volume, not now. If running, none of these features work on Android. So, yeah, it's not a huge deal. I'm literally going to just update them. And I might not even have time to do that because I want to bring these with me to work tomorrow. And I'm going to have these. Why is... Okay, so it's just popping up. Oh, the two AirPods are at different percentages, so it's confusing the... There we go. On the case quality, like, listen to that. Right? Listen to this. Like... And you can see the finish is just rubbing off on all the corners. Love these. These are like apparently like super recycled and stuff. I can tell you that the materials, though, being super recycled, are not as good. I don't think it's the same material that touches your ear. It doesn't look like it on there. So I haven't had issues on this side of things. Now, as I said, this case, if I leave this in my pocket like this, it will be colored all different kinds. You can see, even I just set it down on the table and it's already all... Yeah, if anything rubs onto it, the color goes onto it. This gets scratches ridiculously quickly. This is going to look gray. Not this gray, but like this kind of gray. Like, see, there's white, there's gray. It's going to look like that in a matter of a week or two without at least a skin on it. And yes, I know the skin at this point doesn't look great, but I've had this skin on here since a week after it came out, roughly, I want to say. So the fact that it's in that good of a condition is, you know, D-brand skins are actually pretty quality. So I plan on doing that with this as well. I love the fact that it's got a little lanyard loop. I'm going to put a little lanyard on it. Probably more of a wrist strap style, because what that's good for me is just pulling out of the pocket. It gets buried deep in my pocket. Pull that out. It's great. I like seeing that. I think people are insane. Like, some people put this on their keys or hang it off their backpack, or you guys are insane. Because this thing, as nice as this lid is, like, I mean, I don't know. I fear this is going deep in my pocket, or at least in that little, like, change watch pocket thing. And even then, fishing it out of there, that's a pretty tight pocket. Having just a little strap on there, you know, yay long or something, just something to grab onto. Kind of like how people put little things in their keys, so they can, you know, it's not just keys. I plan on doing that. So the volume, you go up and down on here, and you can do volume. It also said that you can now mute the mic in there by pinching one of the sides. Why couldn't they patch that back to this? Maybe they have. I don't know. I don't use it on iPhones anymore because I don't use one for work. We just use Teams for work at this point, which is actually kind of smart. The other thing the case gets that's nice is it's got a beeper. So if you lose your AirPods, you can use the Find My app and make it go beep, 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 just like the little AirTags, which, by the way, saved me. They lost my luggage on the way to Canada, of course, knowing me. I didn't want to check it. I was forced to check it. And I'm like, I didn't want to check it because you're going to lose it. And what did they do? They lost it. Yup. That's why I waited, though. Right there. You can see it in the bottom. Came out because of the new iPhone, USB-C. Never again do I have to fuck around with, like, I got this guy for another couple years. But, you know, this I can wireless charge. We'll see. If they make one of these in, the rumor is that the iPhone SE is going to get replaced with the iPhone mini body. That would be amazing. And also for the people that don't want the mini to die, maybe it didn't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is actually a very well-spec'd phone for the money. I think these are like $400 or something. I paid a little bit extra for the unlocked. I didn't go with the... I don't know if it's like extra or whatever, but you know, like I bought the AirPods Pro 2. It's number 2. Because I have 2 sets of AirPods Pro, because they won't admit in the thing, because this is the AirPods Pro 2nd generation Type C. And this is the AirPods, just call it the AirPods Pro 2. Not the only reason why it says number 2 on there is because I have both of these paired to the iPhone right now. Oy, oy, oy. Apple with your naming. Like, put it in the title. It's fine. But yeah, so you get the speaky, so you can ping it. The other thing is the LED, I believe. When no, it's still in the front. What's this LED or that thing for on the bottom? Because that's the speaker. What's this other one? Ooh, look! I have a fancy Apple USB-C cable now that's braided. Ooh, I'll probably never take it out of there. Because I have USB-C cables. In fact, well, it's plugged in right now. I use chubby cables in general. They're really nice. There's one on the over there charging my laptop at the moment. Let's see. Apple usually has very good manuals. I wonder if it says in the AirPod in the manual what the little doodle on the bottom is. Press and hold to pair. We didn't have to do that because it was smart enough. Yeah, I might. Okay, so it can do the watch charger. I didn't realize that. I knew it had the MagSafe charger, and I might pick one of those up for this thing. Supposedly, though, their new MagSafe, like the Qi 2, is going to be compatible. But remember, Apple has the stupid MiFi thing. So Apple did another good thing by making the magnet integrated, and they made their phones backwards compatible with Qi 1. But then with their own magnet system, apparently they're making Qi 2 have the magnet system, and that's compatible with Apple. But obviously, it won't be if it's not MiFi certified. Apple gets grumpy. Which they shouldn't be able to do for Type C because it's Type C. But you know, Apple, they probably will. Okay, so I don't see on the case here. It doesn't say what that other hole in the bottom is. Just tells you how to use your AirPods, which is weird. Normally it would tell you that. Wait, no stickers? Wow, you don't even get stickers with your AirPods anymore? Jeez. These are already discounted too, which is very interesting. Because it was like a week after they came out that I put my order in. This is weirdly worded. It says it can align magnetically with MagSafe compatible chargers and is Qi certified. USB-C port. Yep, we got that. That's why we bought it. There's also an external speaker on the bottom of the case to indicate charging and battery status. Why would the speaker indicate charging and battery status? Do they mean that thing? Is it another LED? To me, that looks like another vent. Just like the speaker you guys. Is that a mic, maybe? I don't know. And then and a lanyard loop on the side. But yeah, they're saying that the speaker is to indicate charging and battery status. Maybe that's for accessibility for people who can't see. Maybe they can do that as an option. That would be smart. The status light on the front is on the front of the case. The serial number is underlit. But that description, and that's how they have the other one described as well. Yeah, I don't know necessarily that's rather. Speaker holes on the bottom helping users play an alarm. Yeah, that's that. That's the 3 holes is the speaker. What's that? Anybody know? Comments down below. You really are going to pique my, or stop my piqued interest or whatever, or fix my piqued interest. But yeah, so apparently they sound these sounded acceptably good. These sound even more acceptably good. Apparently the ANC is more better than this. Because it can be more adaptive. Yeah, if you like these, you'll want these, especially because it doesn't have that dumb port on the bottom. If you have these and they're working fine and you're not concerned about your battery issues, don't buy these. Kill these first, then buy these. Yeah, that's really all I got. I have to say to you there. Also, consider the Sony ones. The Sony ones, at least on Android, work the same or better than Apple. Apple also has the weird thing on Windows, which I'll test with the new ones. But when you do phone mode, they go into the potato telephone quality. So everything sounds like butts. When you're using the mic, and you have to do that. Not all ones made for Android have to do that. Most of them can because that's like a backwards compatibility mode. But because the only codecs that AirPods support is AAC, not like LDAC or aptX or there's a couple other ones that I can't remember at the moment. They fall back to the phone call mode when on phone calls. Now I will say, I have been on these inside of warehouses, like active working warehouses and shipping depots, and people can hear me on them. I used these at LTX to that did not work the best. It was very loud. He had trouble hearing me, but he could hear me. To talk to and get my luggage found. These did better than the mic on the phone itself. Yeah, it seriously we're running out of storage. I need to dump the phone. The ANC on these was so good that I could be on a farm with a compressor in the next room, not hear it. Like, and we're talking like constantly running, constantly having to kick on. I don't think it was an air compressor necessarily. It might have been for cooling or something like that. But yeah, these killed it. Would not go work there without ANC this good. It makes it bearable. You can be there instead of being able to barely be there for a half hour to an hour, because because of the environment. I can be there till these die. Then I take a lunch and come back while they're charging. So, let me know what color these should be and what that hole is for on the bottom. And if you have any questions, always hit me up down below. And hopefully we'll see you in future videos. Have a good one as always. Peace.